I recognize 5 members on the board. We will appoint Matt a voting member tonight in the absence of Chairman Toothaker. I am Steve Salisbury, Chairman Pro Tem. I'll accept a motion to adopt the minutes of the November 27, 2023 meeting from somebody.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or changes? All those in favor of the minutes as written? 5-0. Thank you. Item number 2 has been withdrawn. Item number 3, request of William Scott Reynolds for variance to sideline setback, 45 Branchview North, map 90 lot 16. Is Mr. Reynolds here? Are you on the, coming in on Zoom, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Thank you. Do you have something to say first, Lori?
No,
Okay.
no, I really didn't. I'd just go ahead and let him talk, what his idea is for putting this new camp.
Yes, Mr. Reynolds, please explain your request if you would.
Certainly. I have an existing camp at that location which was built before the setback requirements that are currently in place. And I have plans to build a new structure, it's a log home actually, that due to what I've done is planned this building to be not in the footprint of the old structure, which is closer to the lake, but back behind the 100-foot setback from the water. And also, because of the width of the building that I'm trying to build, I'm already up against the 25-foot setback on the south boundary. Are you, by chance, looking at a copy of the request?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And so I've situated this building everywhere I can to avoid some really large boulders. We're talking Volkswagen-sized boulders that would need to be blown up or pulverized had I been closer to the lake and tried to use the old footprint. So I've got it in the best position I can possibly have it as far as having room for the septic expansion chambers on the west side, and as well as having the 100-foot setback from the lake. The lot that I'm asking to be inside the 20-foot mark is it's in a trust which belongs to my family. My father, B. Paul Reynolds, has been the owner of both of those lots for years, and I purchased the one that I'm on from him about 15 years ago. The current structure that's there is another 8 foot closer than the one I'm proposing. It's well inside the 20-foot setback, which obviously we didn't have back then when it was built in 1969. I don't know if I've answered any of your questions, but fire away. I haven't been specific enough.
Does anybody on the board have a question for Mr. Reynolds?
On your map, you have a bunch of lines graded. It says graded. Is that graded and filled? Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Okay.
What I showed you, part of the lines, the not graded, but the filled portion
Yes.
is from the Branchview Drive North Road all the way down to where it exits the property line on the, what would be the north side, just before the 22-foot line that I drew.
Yeah.
That exists now because that's the current easement. That's the driveway that we share between the two lots. And the boundary goes right down the middle of that driveway.
Gotcha.
The rest of that would need, this is, a rough estimate on my part, but that would need to exist to get to the garage, which is the closest part of the building that I'm proposing to Branchview Drive North. That's an attached garage. So I would need driveway up to that point, with a walkway from the garage to the entrance, which is it's in the corner between it's in the corner of the L. The inside corner of the L of that building is the actual entrance to the structure.
So that's not a sunroom?
The sunroom is actually the only thing encroaching on that 25-foot, that's the,
That's
If
the
you look
farthest
at-
bump out?
I'm sorry?
Is that the farthest bump out, the closest one to the line where it says 22 feet?
Yes, that's a 13 by 18-foot sunroom. And that's what's encroaching on the 25-foot setback rule.
Yeah. Is that
The problem
on
I have-
foundation?
Go ahead.
Is that gonna be on foundation?
No, it's not. The foundation would end at the beginning of the sunroom, and the sunroom would be on pads.
Well, it appears to me that the floor plan could be reconfigured so that you wouldn't need
The variant.
the variance. I mean, this, is
Well,
that,
it hasn't been built yet, so obviously it could be altered. We've already taken 4 feet out of the overall width of the original floor plan that this home design had originally. It's currently 56 feet wide from the sunroom to the back, or the north wall, from the end of the sunroom to the north wall. And I'm guessing that the lot is 103 feet wide at that point, because it's 102 at the roadside and 104 at the lakeside. So that's how I came up with the 4-foot request.
yeah. Well, I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you how to build your house, but I'm sure that the floor plan could be reconfigured so that you wouldn't need the variance.
That's a true statement, sir.
And you don't meet two of the requirements. The one requirement that the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted. That's not the case.
That will be hard to overcome, that one.
And that the
Yeah.
need for a
Criteria.
variance is due for the unique circumstances of the property, not the general conditions of the neighborhood. So that's, you've got two major points that
Yeah.
you can't meet, so.
Okay, I'm sorry to ask you to repeat that. I got the first one, but I could not hear the second thing that you said, sir.
I said that there are two of the requirements that you don't meet and can't meet. One is that the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted. That's not the case. And then another one is that the need for a variance is due to the unique circumstances of the property and not to the general conditions of the neighborhood. And since you could redesign the house not to need the variance, that does not apply either.
Because you could
Okay.
even get the same square footage and just keep coming forward, you're well within the 100 foot.
There's probably a million ways. I'm not gonna tell you how to redesign your house, but you've already admitted it could be redesigned, so you wouldn't need the variance, and I don't see how we can possibly grant this variance.
This might be a hard one to grant a variance on, I concur.
We have to ask those 4 questions and,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Well, I much appreciate you considering my request.
With that, I guess I'd move that we deny the request
Based on those two criteria.
based on those two criteria and the fact that he's admitted that you could redesign the house, not to need the variance.
right.
Is there a second?
I second that.
There's been a motion and a second.
May I ask a question of code
Abs-
enforcement?
Go ahead.
Yes?
If I was to have 13 by 3 feet of property gifted from the trust to me, would that meet the requirement as far as code for having a setback? In other words, there's no,
Yeah.
there's not a problem with doing that.
Well-
That's far superior for our solution than it is to change the footprint of the house at this point.
If the existing lot that you're getting that area from is not
It's in violation.
according to the dimensional requirements, you can't make it more non-conforming.
Well, the lot that I'd be taking the land from is well in compliance with the setback rules already. It's,
No, it's not the setback rules, it's the dimensional requirements, like the lot, how many acres is it?
it's .6
Yeah,
or more.
and for Branch Lake, you need 90,000 square feet per lot. So right now, in the ordinance, that's what you need. Of course, yours is grandfathered and your father's
Yeah.
is grandfathered
Yeah,
for that
you'd be-
non-conforming
you'd be
lot.
Because of shoreline.
But you can't make one more non-conforming than the other.
Yeah.
So you can't take land from somebody that doesn't have less than 90,000
go
square
to-
feet.
Is the shoreland resource protection
According to
zones and
these,
defined proposed
The
structure
ordinance that's in
subdivision.
existence
Hell,
now.
hell, Matt, he could take,
Okay.
and it would be better, he could put this sun porch on
Unless you
front
bought
of
the
the
whole
house.
lot.
Bought the
We have
whole
more
lot,
windows. But I'm not, like you
I'm
said, I
not
can't
gonna tell
redesign it, but
So
you
what
would
you're
have more
saying is that
windows.
there is no solution other than
I bet you 10
shrinking,
minutes
further
in.
shrinking the property.
I would want it all that way anyway.
further shrinking the property. I don't want you to do that.
The proposed build,
Oh,
shrinking
I'm
the
s-
proposed
I see.
footprint of the building.
Yeah,
We've already taken 4 feet out of the width of it, encroaching on the kitchen and dining room.
yeah.
What's behind that garage facing the water? What's all that empty space within that graded zone that you have? I guess the northeast side.
Okay, there's no, I guess I'm not understanding the question. The lot, the proposal shows the whole building at the 25-foot line from the Pence property boundary.
Yeah,
So I can't move the building any farther that way.
right, but you had mentioned earlier that you had some blasting that you were nervous about.
Yes.
Where is that blasting that it's preventing you from redoing the? I don't see anything on here for rocks or blast.
Okay. The major obstacles I have are, the largest rock is, if I could hold this up and you can see, maybe that's helpful.
Yeah, yeah, we can see that.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I have rocks right here,
I thought that was a
which,
driveway.
right here,
Okay.
basically between the driveway to the garage,
That
and
has
that's the
nothing-
garage,
Just put the sun porch on in front of the fucking house.
and the walkway from the garage to the entrance, which is here. The rocks are right there.
What
And
about-
The
what-
other major problem is,
Poke a
Stuff
hole
to
in it.
do without
Stick
looking
a
at it.
dynamite
What
in
about moving it down towards the water? You still are grandfathered because you've just taken down your home.
Right.
You're still
Yeah, but-
grandfathered to build within that 100-foot setback.
there's a rock right here, I don't know if you can see my pen
Oh,
right here.
okay. Yep,
There's a rock that takes up most of the space between this room right here and this room right here, this whole area right. You saw it when you were down for the visit, I'm sure you don't remember, it's right here. And that
But
is
that's-
a major undertaking to deal with that rock, which
Yeah,
is why we
that's-
decided it's best for us to not go for the grandfathered footprint, but move back inside the 100, or outside the 100-foot requirement.
These rock surface boulders are attached to a ledge.
Could you repeat that?
Are these rocks surface boulders or are they attached to ledge?
They're all granite surface boulders. They're not ledge.
Well, it's no job to drill a hole in one, put a little dynamite in it, split it in two and move it.
I've been told that,
I've done it 1,000,000 times.
but I still don't see how that solves the setback issue if I move the camp or the home closer to the water.
I don't know, as you admitted that there's ways that you could redesign the house to get the same square footage and not need the variance.
I mean, put the sun porch on the front of the.
Put the front
cage
Towards the water.
Towards the water.
You know, I'm not gonna tell you how to build your house, but
No.
You have all
Yeah, I
that,
understand. I understand that this is not your problem, so I'll deal with it.
Okay, I'm gonna move the motion. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate.
I,
Any opposed? 4-1.
who's opposed? Bruce?
Mr. Sawyer. Is there any other business before the board tonight?
that's all, sir.
That's all? Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you.
Second? I'm sorry.
Second.
We built-
All in favor?
We built a place up on Branch Pond years ago. We blew, I bet, a dozen
Thank you,
surface
sir.
boulders.